Hello. I hope everyone's having a good Halloween weekend. Billy Strings was in full werewolf regalia yesterday in Baltimore. Looked like a good old time. Brian Jennings here. This channel is dedicated to discussing the phenomenon of the mind, specifically as it pertains to me, as it pertains to my diseased pathological relationship with Quentin Tarantino in the movie Critic. There is no David Fincher film. April Fools. Oh, gotcha. One last surprise. Right? And so, this week I'm sending them out. I'm writing them. Everybody. No more bullshit. Right? Major point. Right? Guess you're not actually evil. You just wanted me to appear insane. Unless you are actually evil. Right? And then it doesn't matter. Either way, it doesn't matter. Right? I can't stop him from sending someone to murder me. Right? I can't stop him from torturing me with his clairvoyance. I can't stop that. But I can just be that weird guy, that canker that grows out of the side of his liver. And so that's what I'll be. A reminder to everyone. Right? Clairvoyance. Nah, it's bullshit. It's not special. It's weird. It's a violation. It was supposed to be beautiful. Sure. Whatever. Right? My point is that he's not cool, right? Like, he's not cool at all. Everything that he's done over the last year has been to make me seem insane so that he can justify playing Russian roulette with his career and losing. And so, we'll both be losers together. Right? Let's talk about remote viewing. Let's talk about what's occurring. If you go to these places like the Monroe Institute or College of Clairvoyance, all these places, they'll sit you down on the Freud couch and they'll say, okay, tell me what's in the envelope. They'll have a series of envelopes, and they don't know what's in the envelope, right? It just says A, or it has a barcode or a number or some non-identifying moniker to define its distinction from the other envelopes. And then, right, you'll close your eyes or not, right? You'll look in your mind's eye and say, oh, I smell rose water, or etc., etc. I think it's the pyramids. I think, anyway, you offer a guess as to what you think the envelope is in. And so this is done to have a system that is objectively repeatable. You either get what's in the envelope or you don't get what's in the envelope. Very purist, right? Reductionist, materialistic, scientific way. Right? But if you say, oh, I don't care about proving that I'm a clairvoyant. I know that I'm a clairvoyant. I'm going to find someone with my mind. Right? Then if you have, say, their headshot, like take this guy. Who's that? Right? My headshot in Quentin Tarantino's sex dungeon. Right? The mind is everywhere, right? This guy is in his plush apartment in the Upper West Side. I am in my house in the French Quarter in Louisiana, right? Quentin Tarantino takes my picture, right? Stares right through the eyes. Boom, right there. Not for 5 seconds, right? Not for 5 minutes, for 15 fucking minutes. Blinking as little as possible. and then you close your eyes. And the real work is distinguishing between what is your imagination just coagulating and creating something in your mind and the actual projection or quantum entanglement of your consciousness to that disparate locale or person. Right? And so, right? Quentin used that facility within himself, right, to watch me after he canceled the film because of my reviews every night for months. Right? And then, right, when Tribeca went awry, which it's my fault. It's my fault. He didn't need to do more. He just needed to do more for me. Like, that's all. Like, that's all. He's not better than me. Right? He just thinks he is. Right? He used the same facility, right, to make me appear insane, to justify not saying anything to me, right, to prevent me from writing a bunch of reviews. And he can't stop me. He can't stop me. So, right? I'm a weird, sad guy, right? Who's lost his mind, who obsesses, right? Like, that's the lie, right? That he doesn't know what I'm talking about, that it's all, right? But it's all the same facility. That's the point. That's the point, right? That if he had sent me anything at all, I would have given him what he wanted. No problem. Right? Initiation bullshit. Oh gosh, ambition. Right? I'm sick of, right? Like, no, I made the right decision, right? Because he's not actually cool, right? Like, I thought he was cool, right? I thought that it was my fault. I thought that, like, oh gosh, like I have to be prepared to sacrifice everything because, like, I do feel bad about, like, not giving him what he wanted, but how he's behaved is indicative of a sociopath, of an absolute psychopath. So, therefore, I chose the right side. Right? There was nothing stopping him from moving on with his life. Last June, over a fucking year ago. And so, right? A cool person, right, would have said, I don't need you, never did. Fuck you. Right? But his pride, right? That's pride fucking with you. Right? He didn't want to accept that he revealed himself as a clairvoyant to another clairvoyant who didn't give him what he wanted and just let me, like, loose in the world. So he had to do everything that he could, right, to destroy my mind, up to and including debasing his immortal soul forever. They're trash spiritually. There's nothing good about any of them. Right? Right? You let me look that man in the eye and you see how long before he breaks. Right? Anybody who was at Tribeca knows he broke immediately. Right? Less than 1 second he looked me in the eye. So, I chose the right side. I chose the right side. I don't know if in his mind he was like, oh, he was trying to hurt me. I guess that's like what he thought in his mind. Right? And I did tell him, I'll admit this. I'll admit this because I'm honest. I've always been honest. That when I sent my first letter to his agent, msimpson, I said, right, if you're upset now, you know how it feels. Right? And that's true. It's true then, it's true now. Right? That we each did the same thing to each other. Right? That he violated my mind, and I put all of my hopes into that subtle psychic bullshit connection. And he stopped accepting my mail and said nothing to me. Right? And so, when he canceled the film, right, he spent 2 months violating my mind again, putting all his hopes and trusts, seeing me Right? Be the man that I am, like perpetually devoted to excellence. Putting all of his trust in that bullshit psychic condition. And then, right, I stopped accepting his mail, turned my back and walked away. Right? So, you get out what you put in. Right? Oh, everything I said was in... Nah, I don't buy it anymore. Right? I don't buy it anymore. It's not, like, that's no longer valid for me. Right? Him and the people around him, they're all sick. They're all... Right? And I know that he lies to all of them. I know. I know that he does. And he acts like he has no idea, like, what I'm talking about. Right? And this is my point where it's like it's just evil. It's just pure evil. Right? If we go back to the story about me writing all those poems to a woman who doesn't exist. I delivered those poems by hand, like in person, to William Morris Endeavor. Stack of fucking paper. Right? So Mike Simpson read those poems, right? Read that letter, knowing that there's nothing there, right? And rather than tell me you're not well, you don't know what you're talking about, right? Quentin has no daughter. His daughter's a little girl, right? He would allow me, right? You understand? Right? That I reached out to him to resolve my condition between Quentin and myself, right? It had nothing to do with the heart or any of that bullshit. Right? And so, right, this is my point when I say it's just evil. Like, no one with any sort of moral compass would accept all of that writing and then say, oh, well, okay, I guess I don't have to say anything. Like that's so unethical. One second. And this is my point when I say that the people who worked there were all really upset when I came back however many weeks later. Because they knew that there's something going on here. Like, he comes in and he rages, and then like 3 weeks later he drops off a bunch of poems, and you know, knowing that I had a job, I was like working my job, I was living my life, right? That it's all very convenient, isn't it? You know, and this is my point, that it's all the same tactics, right? It's all the same, right? So there's bile over that whole fucking film. It's disgusting. It's disgusting how far off the rails this thing has gone. Right? So my point is that he has no document that's legitimate, that's valid. He can't get on a polygraph. He can't get in front of a court of law without perjuring himself regarding the screening of Jackie Brown. And so if my real point, right, is that if one part of it's true, likely all of it's true. Right? And if one part of it's a lie, likely all of it's a lie. Right? And so, right? If it's true that he only talked to me through the crucible of the mind's eye about Tribeca, about like what he wanted, right? Then it's likely true that everything that I've been saying is true. And he's used that same facility because he's a base, evil degenerate. Right? Even if I did do it intentionally to hurt him, which I didn't, that in no way gives him the right to behave in the way that he did. Right? Wisdom is a responsibility. Right? I behaved like a child, so I don't get to be in the movie. That's fair. That's fair. I accept that. All he had to do was say that. But to say, oh, you don't oh, you don't, oh, you want to be an actor and you don't give me what I want, therefore I get to torture you forever? Is that right? Like he's in it as well, right? He's up to his ears. He's like drowning in bile over this whole thing. Right? He lies constantly to everyone around him. And so, I'm going to keep writing him, every single person. Right? To destroy his reputation in the same way he sought to destroy my mind. That's fair. That's fair. I can't stop him from being awful. Right? Can't do that. Never can. But I can make sure everyone around him knows it. And that's easy. Right? All I have to do is just tell them that I'm a loser. Right? I don't need Quentin Tarantino. I never did. Right? Oh, so he owns playing guitar? He owns writing? Right? He owns art. I'm supposed to believe that? Right? I didn't choose to turn it into a fucked up mind game. He did. Right? And so, when you put your expectations on aloof psychic prowess, you set yourself up for disappointment. That's the point. Right? I had the capacity within me to be intuitive. But I admit, I was a coward. Right? That's my right. He didn't want to give me assurances. He didn't want to. He wanted me to squirm, and so I squirmed. All the way out the door. And now I'm done feeling bad about it. He's so fucking degenerate. He is the most evil man in the world. As far as definitions are concerned, he checks all the boxes for the Antichrist. And he does depraved, fucked up shit with that wife of his. Right? Right? They could be devoted to good works. Right? They could be real forces for good in the world. Right? Instead, right? They'd rather spray goat's blood all over each other while they fuck in the middle of a pentagram. Right? That's the type of shit they're into. That's the type of shit they're actually into. Ask Leo DiCaprio. Right? So, the highest expressions of remote viewing must be full color, picture for picture, seeing the image as it unfolds. Right? Hovering over the scene, within and around the scene, like an unreliable narrator. Third person omniscient. Right? This is how he sees everything. Right? He's been doing it his whole life. This is how they all, right? Right? His wife's into, right? If she's not involved and it's all him, right? Then it's just hilarious how fucking depraved he is. And it's all in my novel, but, right? Really, really pathological. It's hilarious, honestly. I can't say it on here because he's too much. But, right? They like to play these games with people. Psychosexual games. And I still don't know about the daughter. I don't know. But, is there a girl that wanted to be with me, like in his family in some way? His extended family? I guess. I don't know. Or he's just weird. But yeah, he's weird, but damn, dude. I didn't know you were that weird. Right? Which again, harkens to his depravity. Right? My cowardice, no movie, that's fair. That's fair. But I torture you until you blow your brains out, that's not fair. No, that's an abuse of power. That's an abuse of wisdom, which is the definition of evil. Right? And so, I printed out his picture. I print out anybody's picture because I'm taking my mind back. Right? I can't stop them from being evil. But I can be a good clairvoyant too. Didn't want to be. Now I have no choice. So, he wanted the dragon. Right? Now the millennial dragon is awake. So, I don't know. Is he going to pay me? I feel like he's probably going to pay me soon. If I keep writing letters and getting people to reach out to WME. Again, they all got to be up to here with it, right? As far as wondering what the truth actually is. aemanuel, Mike Simpson. Number one, right? I've burned myself into their psyche through the monologues that I sent them. Forever. Not for no. Not for like a week. Nah, anytime either of them do anything fun, they think of me. They don't have good lives anymore. Right? Quentin has successfully ruined their lives as well. By, right? Running amok in my mind to the point that I went wild. The dragon came awake. And now I'm settling down. Right? But that was 22 minutes, right? 8.5 minutes, 14 minutes. They're not soon to forget that. Unless they never watched it. Their assistants might have thrown them away, but they saw. They know. I release those anytime. Right? The press, right? Like if we're just talking about like sensationalism in the press, right? That's like if we're just talking about like a story, if we're just talking about like a scoop. Right? That dude, those are salacious monologues. And if I sent those to TMZ, they're gonna reach out to aemanuel and say, what do you have to say about this? What do you like? Did he send this to you? Right? I send that to every news outlet in the world. Right? Oh, nobody's gonna. Right? Savage rage. Right? I set that camera on fire. Right? And they can thank Quentin Tarantino. Not me. Don't thank me. Right? And then he sold his script to Netflix like 2 days later. Oh, what a coincidence. So. I'm moving on. I am moving on. I'm not obsessing over it, but, right? This condition is pathological that he's engendered in our minds. And so, disclosure. It's time to bring everyone into the conversation. Right? We're going to have a nice little coming to Jesus around the campfire. And we can all talk about the responsibility of clairvoyance. Right? We can all talk about, right, the sincere expectations that come with remote viewing, that come with, right, putting someone through a psychic crucible. Right? If you call that an initiation, I suppose I failed my movie star initiation. Right? And so that's fine, right? But show business, right? And this is why I have palpable fear, right? Because he's gone so far off the rails, right? And has not succeeded. I have not killed myself. I will not be killing myself. Right? So knowing everything that he's done, why shouldn't I assume that he is outright evil? Why shouldn't I assume that bullets are going to come through my windows at any moment? Right? Because that's the next step, right? He didn't do all this to say, gotcha, motherfucker, like, yeah, like you're a psychic phantom in my mind too forever, hell yeah. Fuck you. No, he did all of it for me to expire. That's, right? He's mentally ill right now. Right? His every thought is filtered through my head. My every thought is filtered through his head. We both wear it well. Right? He wears it better, I would assume, because he always lies to everyone. Right? He lies to his wife, right? Lies to his kids. Lies to Ari, lies to Mike, lies to Stacy. He lies to everybody. Robert De Niro, right? He obviously lied to everyone. Right? And it took me, like I'm so self-deprecating. Right? It took me a while to realize that he set that whole thing up for me. Right? And that's why I quit my job and sacrificed everything. Right? Again, I don't feel bad about it anymore. He's a degenerate. Right? He got out what he put in. Right? But, right? He obviously told all of them, oh, I talked to this guy. He never spoke to me. He played fucked up mind games with me. Right? And I heard him. I knew what he wanted. I was prepared. Right? So, no movie star Brian. Right? But Quentin, it's me and Quentin, right? Forever. Yeah, you did it, buddy. Right? I'm going to talk about you forever. Anybody who will listen. Right? As the pendulum of time swings ever forward. Undoubtedly, I will talk about him less and less as I carve out my own career in the arts. Which is the only thing I know. But, for now, right, as he's barreling towards his April Fool's joke reveal to be the movie critic, right? Or he's just a sad goblin, and that's equally funny. That's equally funny that he gives away his last movie. Right? And damn sure, as long as Production Weekly has him slated to begin something next month, and he's supposed to have some farce in the West End that's about me, or he outright stole more of my intellectual property, and it's my play about Elvis getting miscast in West Side Story. That's, right? You keeping up? Right? And I sent it to the guy that wrote that fucking bullshit article in The Guardian. They ain't got nothing to say about Quentin Tarantino when I tell him he's an evil degenerate. They got plenty to say when he says he's going to be on the West End. All right, so it's either a play about what's occurred between the two of us, right? Well, he'll turn all of my letters against me, right? Humiliate me to the whole world, right? Compel me to sue him. Either way, or, right? It's my play. It's my story about Elvis getting miscast in West Side Story. Right? I suppose I'm done. I don't know what else to say. I started another channel at Celestial Survey. I haven't made any videos for it yet, but I'm going to dedicate that one probably solely to writing and literature. I think for the first series of videos, I'm going to read Shadow Ticket aloud all the way through. Chapter by chapter as its own individual video. Each chapter. All of life is a corrupted kinetic expression of its abstract idealized form. Embedded within every cubic centimeter of space lies the potential for all of manifested realities as Pre-Brum and Bones' holographic model in terms of information. It is an electric quantum waveform of probability, which exerts its perfection into pieces through the impetus for motion, exerting a celestial zephyr of pressure upon it, which corrupts it into a specific geometry, which engenders a kinetic shadow to emerge. Right? A psychic clairvoyant operates on the same principle. That through their intention, right, through a concentrated effort of their psychological will, of their individual conscious awareness, right, they align and lock into a different locale within the firmament of space and act as the celestial zephyr, right? Where the individual impinges upon the firmament of space, fracturing the hologram and realigning it into a different geometry. And so this is how nuns heal the sick, right? This is how you can fast for 15 days, for 25 days, as long as you have water. And on the other side of that, right, it's the same energy to try to destroy, right? That was Walter Russell's last book, was Atomic Suicide, which is what I find myself in. that Quentin et al., right? I think it's 3 people, it could just be him, have all had a concerted effort towards overwhelming my mind, compelling me to suicide, attempting to poison and destroy my body. Right? The things that people refer to as clairvoyant, telepathic, remote viewing, etc., 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 are the same things that people refer to as magic and sorcery. This is why I made my joke earlier about them spraying goat's blood all over themselves while they fuck in the middle of a pentagram. Right? This is like, that's like, right? It's the same thing. Right? It's all, right? It's the idea that consciousness, right, is the derivative force, right? That consciousness allows all of life to emerge. And through understanding that your consciousness is a piece of the divine consciousness which is everywhere, you can manipulate the physical universe to suit the scope of your desire. God bless. All the best.